Joining me now, Republican Congressman Darrell Issa, who is chairman of the House Oversight Committee, the committee that was just grilling the IRS commissioner this week. Mr. Chairman, good to see you tonight. And so there was Trey Gowdy going after Mr. Koskinen, who by all accounts was described as very arrogant in his demeanor in front of you this week. Should the American people be trusting that man to lead this investigation internally in terms of compliance with your demands and that now that's being raised by the U.S. Senate?
Well, Megan, it was Senator McCaskill who described him, a Democratic senator, described him as arrogant. 80% of the American people don't believe they're telling the truth about these drives and the lost data, or particularly the question of targeting conservative groups. And of course, a Democratic political appointee of the president, confirmed by a Democratic Senate on a less than 60 vote requirement, is not the ideal person, not even an appropriate person to investigate these crimes. But Megan, you now know neither is Eric Holder. This case calls for a true special independent prosecutor who has the ability to issue warrants, to seize materials, to safeguard documents and other information before it goes away and get to the truth.
And it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen on this president's watch or Eric Holder's watch, as far as we can tell. But little by little, we're finding information, we're finding documents, and each time we find them, they come up and have a new discovery. You know, the reason we discovered that these documents were really gone is from a subpoena to the Justice Department. Lawyers there decided they didn't want these 1.1 million documents that they never should have gotten, that they got from Lois Lerner in violation of Statute 6103, in other words, a law that was broken. They wanted rid of them, so they gave them back to us. And then we discovered emails from Lois Lerner as a result that we'd never seen, and documents with personal information, donor information, given to the Justice Department by Lois Lerner for the purpose of going after these conservative groups. And it's about time her attorney take back that statement she made, that perjured statement that she broke no laws, she broke no regulations. Of course she broke laws. Of course she broke regulations.
Let's talk about Lois Lerner, because there was breaking news about her today in Senator Grassley. And I think the American public is interested in this woman because she asserted her Fifth Amendment rights. She's at the center of the targeting scandal. No matter whether you believe she's innocent or not, she's at the center of it. And tonight we learned that inadvertently, Lois Lerner received a letter. And the letter was meant to go to Senator Grassley, a Republican. And they were suggesting that he take some trip and give some speech, and they were suggesting that they might pay for his wife to attend as well. Lois Lerner, who is inadvertently receiving this piece of mail, then forwards it along within the tax agency, suggesting an audit, that either Grassley or this group sending the letter or both should be audited because it's not appropriate for them to pay for his wife's travel. Something he never agreed to. He never received the letter. No proof he even knows this group. And the question is whether this now gives us a window into Lois Lerner and how she approached her job.
Well, we have windows into Lois Lerner, this one being the latest one, that she was, in fact, a biased, not conservative, but liberal, on a liberal agenda. Her personal emails back and forth to her daughter on government time and government emails, we read them and realized that this is somebody who supported the president, his attempt to close down conservative groups, his opposition to Citizens United, her quite frankly, this leak that you talked about at the top of the hour, she's somebody who applauded Maryland's gay marriage statute in emails with her daughter. This is somebody who had an agenda and acted on it, broke laws, broke regulations, has been criminally referred by the Ways and Means Committee. They have elements that they've sent to Eric Holder. Of course, those are dead on arrival in all likelihood. The reality is we need a special prosecutor, and we need to realize Lois Lerner's committed crimes. She may be the kingpin, but we'll never know if we don't get the kind of investigation we need to do.
Can she get immunity and give you the information you need?
Absolutely. If she would proffer, if she would deliver to us the explanation of who she worked with in this conspiracy.
And that's how it works. That is how it works. Before you give immunity, somebody gives a proffer. This is what I would say, Mr. Issa, if you gave me immunity. She won't do it?
We don't want her in jail. We want the truth. We want the truth more than anything else, because the American people now believe, 80% of Americans believe they can't trust their IRS. And that means they can't trust their government, they can't trust their president.
One question before I let you go. You heard there that Koskinen, the head of the IRS, was saying, you have the White House emails and you have Treasury's emails, and those show that there was nothing nefarious going on. Tonight, the Senate has joined in on your investigation, saying, we don't trust the IRS in the wake of these lost emails, and we want Treasury and not the White House they list, but Treasury and 2 other agencies, including the Justice Department, to produce their documents, their correspondence with Lois and the other employees who claim their emails are lost. Will that advance the ball? Because Koskinen says you already have that stuff and it doesn't show anything.
Well, it's a good start. The commissioner was being disingenuous when he said this, because stating that there is no evidence, there are no emails, is pretty tough for an agency that just admitted they don't store them, they don't track them, they lost them. And remember, if Lois Lerner's hard drive hadn't broken, she could have just deleted them anyway. They didn't have a procedure to safeguard these documents from mischievous behavior of people doing things. So, quite frankly, for the commissioner is not believable. Paul Ryan said it. I'll echo it. We just don't believe him.
I have to ask you before you go, when Koskinen got sworn in, arrogant or not, you gave him a hard time about keeping his right hand too low on the swearing in. Let me show the viewers what I'm talking about.
Would you please rise to take the oath and raise your right hand? A little higher. Thank you.
Some say that made you look arrogant. Why'd you do that?
Well, in his previous testimony, he had held it down. And, we all understand, whether you're looking years back at the tobacco hearings or anything else, you raise your right hand. All I really asked was that he raise it to a normal level. I only asked it because, in fact, at the Ways and Means Committee, earlier he had sort of held it down, and it seemed a little petty and silly. We've had witnesses who have stepped away from other witnesses and so on. We just ask them to do the routine, ordinary, you raise your hand. There are photographers taking pictures of it. It is a moment, and it should look that way.
All right.
That's all. There was no intent to be arrogant. In fact, this gentleman came in with a great deal of respect in Washington. I'm sorry that he's losing it with a certain amount of half-truths that he's been involved in.
Chairman Issa, good to see you.
Thank you.